Hello everyone! Welcome to the second module of the Introduction to Heritage Interpretation course with me, Teguh, Amor, Patria. In this module, we will explore roots of interpretation. Thus, you will be introduced to history of interpretation and definition of what interpreters do. First, the history of interpretation. In every tribe for millennia, there must have been people who tell stories and share traditions. The interpretive profession, as practiced today, is similar to what has been done in the past. In the modern world, some people were credited for founding the knowledge of interpretation. They include John Muir. John Muir was the son of a Scottish immigrant family in the US and became one of the most important spokesmen for the conservation movement in the 1800s of the country. Muir helped found the Sierra Club and Yosemite National Park in 1890. Hughes helped people understand and care for nature. Inez Mills. Inez Mills met John Muir in California in 1889. Later, he made more than 40 personal trips to the summit of Long Peak before leading more than 250 parties to the summit as a nature guide. He also became a guide trainer. His legacy of observations and ideas was still being used today by natural and cultural history interpreters. Freeman Tilden. Freeman Tilden defined interpretation as to reveal meanings and relationships and invented the 6 principles of interpretation. He wrote a book, The Fifth Essence, an invitation to share in our eternal heritage, in which he explained the importance of meanings. He is credited for many as the father of interpretation. Aside from Muir, Mills, and Tilden, some people and NAI also have defined interpretation, such as Sam Ham, who defined interpretation as environmental interpretation involves translating the technical language of a natural science or related field into terms and ideas that people who aren't scientists can readily understand. While Knudsen, Cable, and Beck, who defined it as how people communicate the significance of cultural and natural resources. It instills appreciation and understanding. So, what do interpreters do? In general, interpreters can be summarized as people whose task is to deliver messages that connect with the interests of the audiences and reveal meanings. Meanwhile, the NAI defines interpretation as a mission-based communication process that forges emotional and intellectual connections between the interests of the audience and the meanings inherent in the resources. And what is not interpretation? Well, interpretation is not simply the communication of facts or term interpredata. These mean interpretation should not ignore multiple points of view, skew facts toward a foregone conclusion, oversimplify data, come from a perspective that the audience is ignorant, communicate in one direction by discouraging dialogue, doesn't allow audience members to have and maintain a personal perspective. In addition, it is also important to note that interpretation does not equal environmental education. Teachers who understand interpretation process will teach with extra effort, help their students make intellectual and emotional connections instead of simply memorizing facts. Some people have contributed and credited as the pioneers in the interpretation domain, such as John Muir, Inez Mills, Freeman Tilden, Sam Ham, and Knudsen, Cable, and Beck. As the interpretation domain grows, interpretation may be defined as a mission-based communication process that forges emotional and intellectual connections between the interests of the audience and the meanings inherent in the resources. Thus, Interpreters are people who deliver messages and reveal meanings of an object that connects with audiences' interests. I hope this module gave you an idea of the pioneers in interpretation in the US and what interpreters do. See you in the next video.